Ta-da! Hello, how are you? It's RonkePosh. It's been a long time I did a video. Yes, I know. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Even I am facing my own challenges in life, so sometimes it's not about the videos. But I have been showing up on TV. So thanks for watching. Thanks for coming by. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. There's going to be a lot of work happening over the next few weeks. So subscribe if you are interested in life issues, parenting, and how everything else affects parenting and our children. If you want to talk about schools in Nigeria, and you can apply our principles in Africa as well, then you're in the right place. So thank you. So what I'm talking about, let me just go straight to the point, is JAPA. So this has been, I've been encouraged to do this from Instagram because I've been posting recently about JAPA Diaries. What does that entail? So a lot has been happening um, over the years. I mean, culturally, people have been jackpotting. People will leave their wives in the village and jackpot to the city. Maybe they'll come to Lagos to get a new life so that they can send money to the village or bring their wives to the city. So jackpot is not really a new thing per se. It's been happening. And a lot of men have abandoned their wives in the village and come to the city and got new wives, and all those sort of things have happened over the years. But we have a new type, obviously, that is happening now. And I'm glad I've been talking about it because I can see now that some churches have started picking up on it. I saw something about relocate without dislocating or something like that. And then what advice do I have for people that want to japa? You see, I don't tell people to stay. I don't tell people not to stay because I have the option of being to the glory of God wherever I want to be, mainly around the world. So my own case is different. Why should people japa? You know, this mass exodus is not new. People have been doing it for years. I understand in the 80s this thing happened where people were just leaving Nigeria. And it wasn't even as hard as Nigeria was not as hard as this now. So you can imagine the number of people that are jackpotting. Now the Brexit had happened in places like the UK. Well, only in the UK Brexit. And a lot of there are a lot of challenges. So they've opened the doors and the borders to a lot of Africans, and they're all coming in and coming in and coming in. And some people are coming in, they don't even know why they're coming in. They just, follow, follow, make me rich. Follow, follow, make me blind. Follow, follow. They just jump in the gutter. They just, want to come. But we need to really think when we are coming, because especially people that are married. When you come, I don't even know if they're giving visa to people that are single. Okay, if they say they want to do a master's, I guess. But I know that those people that are coming for masters with dependents, coming to work and stuff like that, they want you to bring the money into the country. It's good for the economy. So when people come, one will say, I'm going to do the masters, my spouse will do this, or all sorts of visas that they get. I don't really have the details and on the facts about types of visa, but I know that there's the educational route, there's the working, the nursing, the teaching, the doctors, all sorts of things, and people come. Now, already there's a challenge in marriages globally. Globally. So, I mean, social media is bringing it all out. There are challenges. The devil has been at work for many, many centuries, let's put it that way, or even more than that, to break up marriages, because it's the bedrock of any society. Marriages are very important. Families are very, very important. And now we have a lot of family formations, different family formations. Grandparents are bringing up children. People are cohabiting. People are married. People are married 10 times, and all sorts of things are happening. But what is the impact on the children? Why are you leaving the country? A lot of people say for the better life, for the better life. And when I started talking about JAPA on Instagram, a lot of people, especially women, were writing me. In fact, there was only one man that wrote me. All the others were women, writing me, and how they suddenly started, trying to build their life in Nigeria, and they're being asked to leave the country to go to another country, and they've just started seeing, something tangible in their business. They want to stay in Nigeria, but am I being selfish? Is the question that I get a lot. Am I being selfish if I don't want to go? My husband wants me to go, but he wants to stay behind. Already, when I'm at home, there's a challenge. He's not, that faithful. He's not home on time, and all sorts of challenges. And now I'm going to be like 1 million miles away. But the thing is, if your husband is not faithful, it's not faithful. Whether he's here right under your nose or another country or whatever, it's not faithful. It's not faithful. So unfortunately, I don't have great news for you. But I do encourage families to relocate together. It's nice. It's the best thing for them to relocate together and find their feet together and do things together, grow together. Because oftentimes you find that there's a gap in professional development, in personal development, and then maybe the wife will grow more than the husband will grow more than the wife, and then they can't talk anymore. They don't relate in many ways. Envy comes into it. All sorts of things. So we have to be very, very careful. It is possible to live in two countries. It is possible to live, in these days of technology. It has made things very, very easy. I'm sitting here in Buckinghamshire and I'm just talking to you, and I know that people will listen to me in Uganda because I know people follow this channel from all around the world. So, and I thank you for following it. And I even know now that there's even India following us now. So do share the video, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Now I'll continue. So you must know your why you want to JAPA. It's very important. And if you're already having challenges in the marriage, I want to encourage you to. If you're already having challenges, even if you think you're going to get a better life here, you see, there might be power supply and the roads may be good, but you might actually lose your family. So if your family is a lot to you, maybe you don't want to do that. But I find that these days, JAPA is also a way of many people breaking up their families without the world knowing. So they will break up, they will separate, they will divorce, and they will say, my husband is in Zamfara or South Africa or in America or Singapore or wherever, and I'm here. How is he doing? I'm fine. And it's fair because a lot of people, they don't even wish you well. They even wanted the marriage to break anyway. So now that it's broken, hurrah, hurrah, hurrah. Sometimes you just want to do away with all that. So an easier way might be to JAPA. You just leave and then something like that happens. But you have to carry your spouse along because it's selfish to make someone believe, a lot of people, they'll say their husband went to, traveled abroad and she's at home with 2 children, 3 children, 4 children, and they're waiting and waiting. After a while, they don't even get any communication anymore. And all those sort of things are actually quite evil. And there's karma, it will always come back. There's the law of sowing and reaping. So I know that a lot of our society has allowed a lot of people, even the generation of our parents, a lot of them have lived together where they're not necessarily fulfilled as individuals. They didn't fulfill their dreams because of their children or because of their spouses or whatever, or society. And there's a lot of resentment, but we don't want to repeat the cycle. And then now there's talk about feminism, girl power, all sorts of things are happening. We must understand the way we raise our children and the way we raise our boys and our girls, and we must understand that there's equality, there's partnership, there's love when you are married. That's the way it's supposed to be, and that's what we're supposed to be drilling into our children. That one person's success is the success of another person. If a husband is thriving, the wife is thriving and the children are thriving. If the wife is thriving, the same applies, and you just carry yourself along. One person can cover the other person. There's no competition. You just keep on going in life. That's the ideal. But we find that that is not always what happens. For whatever reason or the other, it's not always the case. Now, if you find yourself in a place where you've got children, especially young children. Now, if somebody jackpots with a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 19-year-old, 18-year-old, and they land in another country and things don't work out, hopefully it's not a domestic violence kind of thing or whatever. You can carry those type of children along to let them know that mom and dad are having issues, and this is this is what we have come to. This is the resolution. This is our conclusion. This is what we want to do. We're going to separate. We're going to divorce or whatever. And this is. Let me know your feelings, because the feelings of the children very, very valid. The smaller ones, they'll feel insecure, they'll feel vulnerable, they will be scared, they want their parents together. Even the older ones want their parents together, but they can understand if things have not been going on. Some children, you even ask them and you will tell you that I think it's even better if they're not together. I think it's better if you want to go and just go their own way or go that way, because they understand. But for the younger ones, you need to protect them as much as you can. Even if you're going to go to different families or different homes, or you're going to be in the same house and you're doing things until you guys can now split, try to keep it civil. Try to be cordial. You don't have to destroy the other person because you don't want to be in a marriage. I know that the issues are varied. The issues are varied. Some are uglier than others, and some are quite simple. They just it's enough, we are not in love anymore, or I've had enough, or I just want a new start, or whatever. Whilst they may not always be valid to me or you or to somebody else, whoever is saying it, we have to say their feelings are valid. If they've pleaded with you and done everything and it's not working, then you have to let go. And if we will let go, it doesn't mean that you have to resent the person. It's hard. So it's not as if I have the answers. It will be hard. And I always recommend, especially to women, because my audience is mainly women. If you know that your partner is unfaithful or is no longer interested in the marriage or stuff like that, try not to resent because of your children. Have a cordial relationship because of your children. Have it also for yourself and your sanity and your well-being. You don't want to live in bitterness. You don't want to live in hate. You don't want to, you don't want to be resentful. It may be hard. So if it means that you need to pay a professional to help you, then do so. If it means that you have to call up one or two or three or four friends that you trust, because these days a lot of things that we're seeing online is these so-called family members and close friends that are bringing it out there. And I'm thinking, hello, the one I saw today, the wife, I don't know who threw, but I heard from the narrative that the wife threw the husband's things out. The husband called the police. There were items on the ground outside, and people were recording. And I thought, this is so ugly. Does it have to come to that? So as much as you can, even if you have to get some intervention, some legal advice, do your research. You are already going through a lot. Ask for time so that you can grieve, because there are different ways that people grieve separation and all these sort of things that happen. Because now I've come to realizing that these things happen even to the best of us. Some of you might not even want to be divorced, but it happens to you. So what are you going to do? Kill yourself? Be suicidal? No, you have to make the most of the life that God has given you. It's not about you. If somebody doesn't want to be with you again, it doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean you're ugly. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. It's just not working. What does God have in plan for you for the rest of your life? That's what you need to focus on. And you never know. You can be friends. You can be useful to one another. Just get on. Get on with life. I mean, so many people these days are separating. We don't want to. I don't want to. You probably don't want to. But you may have to. Or you're watching this because you've seen on the narrative or the tag or the title that there's divorce there, children, JAPA parenting for whatever reason. And then you're thinking, what's going on? Even me. Or you might even be thinking you want to even leave your marriage. You might want to leave your marriage, but you must know that you've done everything that you can. And then it's not possible before you make that big decision, because it has a lot of emotional consequences. They're going to have to go through a lot and some people 10, 20 years later, they can't even get over it. And don't think that because somebody called a divorce, so if a woman says she wants to divorce her husband, it doesn't mean that she's not going to grieve or she's not going to go through a lot of pain or grieving herself, because you've been bound. There's this example I heard about many, many years ago, where you put two pieces of paper, you put glue in between them, and then you try to separate them. When you separate it, one part takes, it scatters. One part takes some paper. Essentially, you will always be a part of each other's lives. So get used to it. So if you're going to be a part of each other's life for the rest of your life, would you rather be able to call the person anytime and say, hello, what's up, I'm in the area, or the kids need this, or can you help me with that? Would you rather that, or you have to go through a lawyer, you have to fight, because when you go to all these countries, you can't be doing it and just tell that you do grandmother, uncle beg, you do all this nonsense that we do, because there's no structure, there's no, we just do anything anyhow. We have to be careful. You have to protect the emotional well-being of your children, because even when social services come, they will even assess all those things. How are your children functioning? How are they, a lot of children, they can start weaning on themselves, stuttering, and having all sorts of side effects from the issues that you're having at home. Don't start talking to the child about the mother or the father in ugly ways, no matter what they've done. It's tempting. And don't try to now make your child or your children your spouse. And it's called spousification. You start making them come to sleep in your bed. You make them come to things that your spouse should do. You may not be sexual, but it's non-sexual abuse. And I know it's getting complicated. It's non-sexual abuse. But you can't continue to try and use your children to fill the gap of your spouse. They must always be children. They must be allowed to do what children do. They must be allowed to enjoy their life. Your business is not their business. Unfortunately, it may have happened to you. You need a therapist. You need friends, counselors. There's YouTube. Resources on YouTube. Background, you see this one too. Resource on resources on YouTube. Go on Audible, Scribed, all those sort of things. There are resources everywhere. Get someone to talk to. Get someone to stay with. Someone to hang out with. Get someone that understands. Sometimes you don't even want somebody's Nigeria, any small thing is pastor, and it's fine. But some of those pastors are not trained to understand certain aspects of life, like emotional well-being of people, mental health of people. When you speak to a professional, they can ask you some questions that has to do with how your mind is, how you're feeling, at a time when you're low. So I need you to focus on yourself, your health. You need to look after yourself. You need to do things. You need to maybe pick up a new hobby, write a book, travel, change your wardrobe, exercise more, declutter, journal. There's so many things that you can do. Put a post-it notes all around you where you're empowering yourself. I'm good enough. I'm beautiful. I'm strong. I can do this. This is just the beginning of the rest of my life. My future is going to be bright. And because a divorce is not a destination. A separation is not a destination. You can still get back together. I've heard of stories like that. And even if you don't get back together, the rest of your life, it should not be determined by one event. Now, I was telling my friend today, one day, that there's something called a circle of life. And another friend of mine reminded me, I did this in a program, her name is Dr. Dishola, and she reminded me of the circle of life, the wheel of life, we'll call it whatever. And I'll just summarize it briefly. So if you have, okay, let me just use this piece of paper. Maybe it will quickly give you an idea what I'm talking about. So if you have a circle like this, and this is the circle of your life, the wheel of your life, and you divide it like that, or the lighting. So you divide it into different parts. So that circle, a part of it can be your social life, your mental health, your physical health, your finances, your career, your children, your parenting, your marriage, your relationships. You just put all those things that are important in your life into that circle. And what happens is that a lot of people, when one aspect of that wheel of life is not working, we think the whole life is not working. Then we make a decision. And make sure you don't make a decision when you're emotional. When you're too happy, don't make a decision. When you're sad, don't make a decision. Make sure you are balanced and stable before you make any decision, any life decisions. Very, very important. So that's wheel of life. So maybe your children are, maybe somebody's child is not doing well in school, or is on drugs or something. That parent can be focusing on that child, like, oh, this child is giving me a headache, my life is over. Then you let it affect your marriage, then let it affect your health. Maybe you're using drugs to sleep at night. You let it affect your work, your career, because you're not delivering in the office anymore. But it's only that child that is the problem, but you magnify it and let it affect everything else. It could be your marriage that is faulty. Then you use it to judge every aspect of your life. You use it to judge your career, your relationship, and every other thing. So we must know that when there is a problem uniquely in one part, leave it there. It doesn't mean everything in your life. So treat that one and then see how you can heal from that one and rebuild. That's what you need to do. Now, this video is already 17 minutes long. Me, I don't like watching long YouTube videos. So let me end it here, and then we'll continue to talk about JAPA. So if you have topics or questions for me, or you want to contribute, please do that in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye. RonkePosh. I've really enjoyed it. I've not done this in a long time videos, so I'm going to be doing a lot more. See you later. Bye.